Well, the US President Joe Biden, who's got less than a day left in the job, says the ceasefire only happened because he stuck to his principle of backing Israel, helping to put pressure on Hamas. Let's bring in Tom Connell, who's live for us in Washington, D.C. this morning. Tom, good afternoon where you are. After 460 days, the families of those three women have finally been reunited.
Such incredible relief. We've all seen the pictures, and I'm sure the mothers watching would have not been certain, not have been really assured until they met their daughters again. These three young women, remember, one of them kidnapped from that music festival, two from kibbutzes as well. So this overall deal, let's just refresh on phase one. There are going to be 33 in total hostages released back to Israel. Now, 90 hostages remain unaccounted for. It's believed about 60 are still alive. So there was actually even a hold-up at the last minute when the IDF was not given this list by Hamas. There was another hour beyond the scheduled ceasefire of fighting of the IDF targeting, they say, terrorist targets within Hamas. So a last bit of drama before this ceasefire, which it has, as you heard there, held so far. As to where to from here, we're going to see plenty going the other way, about 2,000 total Palestinian prisoners being released by the IDF. From the Israel side, they say, yes, they're very welcoming of these three being released, but saying their job is not done until the rest of the hostages are released.
We cannot and will not forget the 94 hostages, including women, children, and elderly, remain in Hamas' brutal captivity. Our mission is not over until every single hostage comes home.
A lot of talk and debate here in Washington about whether this was something Joe Biden got over the line, or it was more about the looming spectre of Donald Trump that forced the hand in particular of Hamas. Donald Trump said once he's president, if the hostages have not been released, there would be all hell breaking loose. In truth, it was quite a rare bit of cooperation between the incoming and outgoing administrations, and Joe Biden recognised that. He said as well it was all about the fact that he stuck to his guns and kept backing Israel, which was able to put pressure then on Hamas, and that, as a result, has meant finally there is a ceasefire in this conflict, which lasted some 470 days so far.
After so much pain, destruction, loss of life, today the guns in Gaza have gone silent. Many of you who follow these negotiations will attest that the road to this deal has been not easy at all, a long road. But we've reached this point today because of the pressure Israel built on Hamas, backed by the United States. Some said my policy of a firm support for Israel is relentlessly pursuing diplomacy, risk drawing America into a wider war in the region.
It's impossible to overemphasise the anguish of the parents, obviously, of these three women and the hostages still not returned, including the youngest ones, a 2- and a 5-year-old. Romi Gonen, for example, she was at this music festival which was attacked by Hamas. She managed to get on the phone to her mother, said 2 words, and her mother didn't see her for another 470 days. She spoke the mother to Sky News shortly after those October 7 attacks.
I was with her on the phone and couldn't do nothing. It's so frustrating. Hearing your kid suffering, afraid. She said, hello, mommy, and that's it. And then all we hear is gunshots around the car.
Well, they've been reunited. Such relief and celebration in Israel, while still knowing there are so many hostages still being held. This is phase 1 of the ceasefire, Pete. Phase 2's really difficult. That's where the negotiations start for that in the next 2 weeks. And that's where the two sides somehow have to agree on who's going to control Gaza. And obviously Israel does not want that to be Hamas. Who fills that void if indeed that does happen? And Joe Biden said, well, that's up to the next administration.
Yeah, questions that will not be answered quickly for sure. Tom Connell, thank you so much.